Hello lovely people and welcome back to my channel. Today we're attempting to 36-star the Spiral Abyss with my Cryo Kaeya.
Oh, so sorry.
Hoyoverse really sold us a premier Cryo unit for 6 weeks and then completely threw the Ayaka Havers under the bus with probably the least cryo-friendly Abyss cycle since version 1.0. I bet you're wondering, Flav, you have perfectly usable characters on your roster. They could do this cycle faster, why don't you use them instead? Well, imaginary voice of reason, it's quite simple actually. I just really love Kaeya. That, and I need to farm content for this channel.
Me out here prostituting my personality on YouTube so Google can take half my money?
In this section, I'll be explaining my team's techs and synergies with one another. If you aren't interested, you can skip to the timestamp on the screen right now. I will be using the specific team composition for our sexy eye patch man. Keep in mind, these builds are specific for my preferred playstyle and rotations, and is not indicative of an optimal build nor their best when it comes to personal damage potential. Now for our team members. First up, we got Chongyun. Chongyun's skill allows us to infuse Kaeya's auto attacks with Cryo, squeezing a bit more damage from running a Cryo Goblet, compensating for losing access to amplifying reactions. Additionally, Chongyun's first Ascension passive gives Sword, Polearm, and Claymore users within the field of his skill an auto attack speed increase. With the Sacrificial Greatsword, I could decide either to have a near 100% uptime with Cryo Infusion, or reproc the field for energy generation with the added benefit of shredding Cryo resistance on the enemy with his 4th Ascension passive. With a low cost burst, Chongyun can effectively run 4-piece Noblesse Oblige to increase the party's damage. To note, Kaeya's burst can snapshot, which means if you activate Noblesse and immediately use Glacial Waltz, the Noblesse buff will persist on the burst even after the buff expires.
Oh, so sorry.
Our second team member is Mona. She is running the Widsit more so for additional personal damage on her burst. In retrospect, I could have run her with Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers to pass a substantial attack boost to Kaeya, but I haven't played that setup enough to say with certainty that it would outdamage my current build. Since we are building her more as a nuke rather than a support, I decided to put her with 2-piece Heart of Depth and Noblesse Oblige. Coupled with her ER Ascension stat, I am banking on Mona's 4th Ascension passive for additional Hydro damage. Lastly, when Mona's bubble pops, the Omen's status makes enemies even squishier to our team's attacks within a 5-second window. Jean here is our jack-of-all-trades support. I am running her with an R5 Favonius sword, which makes her a general energy particle generator every time she lands a crit. What makes this interesting though is that we want our target to be afflicted by Cryo. It is not just for the Cryo resistance shred from 4-piece Viridescent Venerer, but it also takes advantage of Cryo Resonance, which helps us out with guaranteeing Favonius sword passive to proc. And finally, with Jean's burst, she could heal the team instantaneously, especially when you're caught in an unfavorable position. As for the star of this showcase, I opt to switch Kaeya out of my usual crit damage sword with the 4-piece Blizzard Strayer, and swap to a 2-piece Shimenawa and 2-piece Blizzard. To put it concisely, relying on the hidden crit mechanic would become too RNG reliant, especially facing boss monsters on a time-dependent challenge. That would be disingenuous to call this a viable comp if it needs a lot of resets to work. I will be using the 5-star Primordial Jade Cutter for a massive spike for my crit rate, given that my pieces are heavily leaning towards crit damage. Its passive gives also an additional attack percent based from our maximum HP. For this run, the only constellation that will be giving us substantial gains would be Constellation 1, which increases Kaeya's crit rate on normal attacks when an opponent is afflicted by Cryo. Lastly, unnoticed but very helpful is his Expiration talent, reducing the stamina consumption when we sprint, especially when Magu Kenki dash or when the Perpetual Mechanical Array zoops through the field. So with that out of the way, let's go on with the showcase. Thank you for watching my video. If you do like my content or want to show your support to the channel, please leave a like, comment, share with a friend that would appreciate it, and subscribe. Till the next video, peace.